Boxing fans, we are back again with another edition of Chatter Boxing, the show that kind of sounds like shadow boxing. That's right. How are we doing? I hope we're all well. I kind of feel like the London bus, to be honest. You know, you wait and wait and wait for one to show up, and then two come right after each other. But c'est la vie. There was a lot of boxing this weekend. I didn't see all the fights, but today we will go through Skye Nicholson's KO in Australia, Jack Turner, the co-main event on Queensberry, Rafferty versus Chamberlain, which was the main event on Queensberry, and of course Jamaine Ortiz over in Orlando, Florida in the USA in the MVP promotions card. So let's get straight into it, boxing fans. Let's chat boxing. Before we do that, I will say a special mention to the Miller-Woodstock fight, which was also on the Queensberry promotion. What a cracking fight it was. Credit to both fighters. That was a great performance. I think Miller was a deserved winner from what I saw. Great to see the mutual respect at the end of the fight between the two gentlemen. Always good to see that. Anyways, let's get straight into it with Skye Nicolson. She scored her second consecutive KO, I believe, over in Australia. This was in the second round, early second round, if I'm not mistaken. Very decent performance. She looked very powerful. She looked in great shape, to be honest. I haven't seen her look like her shoulders, or let's say like the wing, so to speak, would look quite broad. She looked very powerful during the weigh-ins, and it came out to be in the fights. Her second KO in a row, as we said. Very good stuff. I'm not so sure about the opponent, so for those of you who haven't seen it, Skye Nicolson caught her with a very good body shot, and the opponent just wasn't having it, to be honest. She turned around, kind of gave her back, and was just walking towards her corner, which was very strange. And of course, Skye Nicolson took advantage of that, came up with a strong right hand that dropped her opponent to the canvas, and her opponent wanted no more, which is fair enough. Onwards and upwards for Skye Nicolson. Up next, we've got Jack Turner versus the Argentine. I believe his name was MURUGUZA. Very good fight, very good step up for Jack Turner. Those of you who know me or have seen my past episodes, especially the last time Jack Turner fought, you would know that I am a huge Jack Turner fan. What an explosive boxer, only 23 years of age. And this was his 12th fight, I believe. He's had 11 fights, 10 KOs, a lot of them coming in the first round or second round. He was coming off a decent KO against Ryan Farag, a fellow Liverpudlian, in his last fight. And what I liked about this fight is the opponent was very game. Credit to the Argentine, MURUGUZA, I believe. I could be butchering his name, I apologize. But he was very game, and that's exactly what Jack Turner needs. Sometimes in the past, his opponents have withered away. They felt that power. They've even heard that power. You can constantly hear his shots ringing out through the arena on the TV screens. He really has bombs for fists. But the slight criticism some people may have said in the past is that his opponents are they cower away, it's one round and done. But here we had, which I think is a bit unfair because Farag is quite an accomplished opponent, to be fair. But here the Argentine, he was very game, and he did not wither away or back down from some of the bombs he was feeling from Jack Turner, some of the bodywork. His opponent, the Argentine, had excellent stamina, excellent output. He's a very good fighter, I must say, very crafty fighter. You could see he did do some damage to Jack's face in the post-fight. You could see there was swelling under both eyes. There was a cut above the eyebrow. Of course, Jack Turner did some damage to his opponent as well. Even during the knockdowns and the KO, you could see MURUGUZA's face and nose was all bloodied up. And that's just the result of the explosive power that Jack Turner has, going to the body, going up top. He really is a knockout star. And the future is extremely bright for him. Also, he looks huge in there. He really, compared to his opponent, he looked very big. I wonder how long he can hold on at this weight level. I hope he can I hope he can maintain it, because his power advantage at that weight class is just devastating. Absolutely devastating. It wasn't all smooth sailing. Obviously, he did get caught a few times. I did like when he rolls under the punches. He used to he was rolling under the punches in this fight quite well, but sometimes it's not enough. I would like to see a bit more slips. I know his style is to put pressure and come forward, but maybe a little bit more craftiness, a little bit more care defensively, because this guy was catching him, and you could see the proof in the face. At the end of the day, though, there's no hiding from that power. You can run, but you can't hide, man. And that's exactly what happened. Jack Turner dipped to his left, came back up with a crazy left hook that you could just hear, and it knocked his opponent down. His opponent was very game, came back up. He did look a bit unsteady on his feet. He did have the glaze in his eyes. Came back down, and it was just a matter of seconds until Jack Turner knocked him down again. And that's all she wrote. Correctly called off by the referee. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, if you've not watched young Jack Turner before from Liverpool, the 23-year-old, please do watch him, because he's a very explosive, very exciting boxer. And I'm glad he got to see this kind of serious test. It's what he needed at this stage of his career. Brilliant matchmaking, I must say. Credit to whoever was the matchmaker for that, because this was a very, very tough and brave opponent, and he didn't just back down. And he was game, to sit there and exchange and to go forward, and to try his best. And he gave Jack Turner a very tough test. And although Jack Turner did eat quite a few shots, he will be much better off after this fight. He would have learned a lot from this fight. There's a lot to work on, and there's a lot to take encouragement from. He was up against a tough opponent who was letting him have it, and he withstood all of the fire, and he came back with his trademark power. So future's bright for him, one to watch for sure. Next up, the main event on the Queensberry card, which was Rafferty versus Mark Chamberlain. Cracking fight. Excellent 12 rounds of action. Ended in a draw. I don't think you can have too many complaints with the draw. Personally, I had Chamberlain winning it maybe by 1 round. Very, very close fight. Very tough to score. Again, it's a nightmare to score some of these fights. I had Chamberlain winning it by 1, but to be fair, Rafferty is the one with the belts, and I am a believer. There's that old saying in boxing, you need to beat the belt off the champion. I think a draw is more or less a fair result. As I said, some of these rounds were impossible to score. But credits to both fighters. I mean, Chamberlain, from the beginning, beautiful boxing off the back foot. And Rafferty, it was how styles make fights? It was a beautiful complement to each other. Chamberlain was happy and very able and very skilled at boxing off the back foot, constantly moving. And Rafferty was very good at constantly applying that pressure no matter what. It was a beautiful blend of styles. Chamberlain was moving up in weight for this fight, and you could see the difference. Rafferty was clearly the bigger guy in there, coming forward, putting on that pressure. He cut Mark Chamberlain early. The corner did very well to handle that cut. But again, Rafferty kept coming forward, applying that pressure. Chamberlain was just happy to box off that back foot and box very well. He was letting those combinations go always. Like anytime Chamberlain was throwing off the back foot, it was 2s and 3s. Always 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s. The few times it was just a single punch, he made sure it was hard. I was noticing that throughout. So very nice stuff from him. Credit to Rafferty. He was blocking a lot of those with the high guard, and he was coming back, and he was landing big shots on Chamberlain. He was landing good shots on Chamberlain. For me, I think Chamberlain just edged it in terms of output. As I just said, Chamberlain was unleashing the combos throughout the fight, and Rafferty was also catching him, but sometimes it was singles. Whereas with Chamberlain, it was always 2s, 3s. Credit to Chamberlain for that gas tank, because to maintain that pace, to keep moving for 12 rounds off the back foot with such, unrelenting pressure on you the whole time, the mental fatigue, the physical stress that takes on you, and to keep throwing as well. Like I said, throwing combos. He had the higher output. Both men threw a tremendous amount of punches. That's why it's so hard to score, honestly. Some of those rounds were very, very close, and it depends what you like more, the back foot, the pressure. Very tough fight to score, but I'm here for it all day long. It was a lot of fun. And I would love for them to run it back, honestly. I would love for them to run it back. Again, there's a lot of mutual respect between the two boxers, which we love to see. And last but not least, we've got the technician Jamaine Ortiz versus Batista over in Orlando on the MVP promotions card. And first of all, the disrespect in boxing, man. They put Jamaine Ortiz on the preliminaries, man. How are they? I mean, how is that even possible? I mean, credit to MVP, they put him on a show. I don't want to be too dismissive, but like Jamaine Ortiz on the prelims, really? Unbelievable. So the technician 19-2, for me, I consider him undefeated. I don't care what you guys say. For me, he's undefeated, 21-0 going into this fight. His only two defeats were against Lomachenko and against Teofimo Lopez. If you guys haven't seen those, go back and watch them, because I think both of them were robberies, especially the Teofimo one. I mean, the Lomachenko one, I think Jamaine Ortiz won that by a couple rounds, but it was close at times. And, you know, okay, it depends what you like. You know, Jamaine Ortiz was quite elusive. Loma ended up putting on a lot of pressure towards the end. But the Teofimo Lopez one, I mean, I don't think Teofimo laid a glove on Jamaine Ortiz. And this was not too long ago. It's not like, you know, we're talking about young Teofimo. This was a year and a half, maximum 2 years ago. He didn't lay a glove on him, man. Jamaine Ortiz made him look so basic and so silly in there. Just using his footwork, catching him with the jab, and Teofimo literally could not hold him, could not stop him in the corner, could not cut the distance, he could not do anything. So say what you're going to say, 19-2, come on. For me, he's 21-0. Maybe 20-0-1. Maybe we'll give the Loma one a draw. But first things first, he missed weight. Jamaine Ortiz was overweight by around 4 pounds, which is very surprising and very much unlike him. It was a last-minute replacement. I don't know if that maybe made a difference, if that maybe distracted him in the last week, you know, the final days of the weight cut. I'm not too sure. But that being said, like, he missed weight by 4 pounds. It's quite a significant amount. It's not like half a pound or 1 pound. But also, that being said, I know for a fact he's a consummate professional. So to miss weight by that much doesn't make sense. Like, it couldn't have been an accident, you know. He is a consummate professional. He lives the life inside and outside the ring. If you see on his YouTube channel with the whoop and all that. And personally, I've met him a couple of times. I seen him once in the gym training in Dubai. And I spent like an hour and a half in that gym, okay? When I reached that gym, he was working out, already covered in sweat, like head to toe. I think he'd finished his boxing by then. He then went out on a run in Dubai, like an outdoor run. He then came back, if I remember correctly, he was doing some core work and stuff. Anyways, I was there for an hour and a half. He was already like way into his workout when I showed up. And he was continuing to work out by the time I left. So he was there for hours, man. And honestly, the amount of sweat, his sweat was sweating. Like, I saw so many individual beads of sweat. Like, this guy is a hard worker. He lives the life. He takes it serious. So I'm not sure about the 4 pound missing the weight. I don't know. Maybe he thought like, okay, it's a last minute opponent. This is just pure speculation by me. Maybe he thought, okay, last minute opponent. I'm going to see how I feel if I move up to a bigger weight class, see how I feel carrying extra weight. Maybe he was just going to use this as an experiment. I don't know. I could be way off. He fights at 140. So it's not like 4 pounds makes him 147, makes him 144. But it's just a bit unusual to see him miss weight like that. Nonetheless, excellent performance by the technician. Right from the start, he was in that Philly shell most of the time, sometimes with the high guard when needed. Very jerky, very fidgety, extremely sharp, like boxing on the balls of his toes. Very sharp movements, very crisp with the feints. And the jabs, they're always being double or triple jabbed with intensity, always. And that was very, very impressive. And you could see what he was doing. He'd get control of the center of the ring. Then he'd apply pressure with that double, triple jab, push his opponent back to the corner. Once the opponent was around the corner, then Jamaine would just unleash with some combinations. And it was very nice work. Very nice to see. He got him out of there in the third round. I think his opponent might have hurt his hand or something, but honestly, the writing was on the wall. Go back and watch it. By like round 2, the second half of round 2, you could already tell mentally Jamaine Ortiz had figured it out, tasted his power, realized there was no match for him. He had much more power. You could tell the writing was on the wall after 2 rounds. So it wouldn't have changed much. Dropped him twice before the referee stopped it. And very impressive win. And what I like was, from round 1, Tarver was saying, you know, it's a last-minute replacement, his opponent. We don't get paid for working overtime. I hope Jamaine gets him out of there quickly. And lo and behold, that's exactly what Jamaine Ortiz did. He got him out of there very quickly. Very impressive. I'm a huge fan. Honestly, he looked very good in that bigger weight. Muscles were bulging out. I don't know, man. If he moves up to 147, yeah, I think maybe to me, maybe he'd look relaxed at that weight class. But it's not for me to decide. Let's wait and see. In my opinion, those shorts were really cool. And actually, you know what? Maybe that could have been the weight, how he missed weight. Could have been his sponsors. He has concrete creatine. Maybe he's having too much creatine, and that's why he missed weight. I joke. But yeah, man, I really hope that we can now see more of him. They can give him more platforms. I know he wants to fight. A lot of people avoid him because, of course, you'd avoid him. He's a very, very dangerous and difficult fighter to fight against. He gave Loma trouble, like all night long. Teofimo, he schooled him. He schooled Teofimo. So I understand people are avoiding him. High risk, so to say, low reward, as he's not a world champion, doesn't have a belt. But I really hope MVP Promotions can keep giving him the stage, keep giving him platforms. Jake Paul was ringside. I'm sure he was very impressed with that work. I definitely want to see more of him, please. Who will we see him against next? That's a good question. There is Gary Antoine. Okay, assuming he stays at 140, there's Gary Antoine Russell. I think he wins that. Teofimo at 140 or 147, there's no chance Teofimo does the rematch. There's absolutely no chance. Turki Al-Sheikh can throw whatever money he wants at Teofimo. Teofimo's not taking the rematch, unfortunately. Who else is there? Richardson Hitchens. That's a very good fight. That's a very tough opponent. And I would like to see that fight. I do fancy Jamaine Ortiz's chances against Richardson Hitchens, but I want it to marinate a bit more, you know? Let Richardson Hitchens' stock rise a little bit further. Let's see another one or two devastating, dominating performances from Ortiz like we saw last night. And then we can have that fight. That'll be a very nice one. And Ortiz said in the post-fight he wants to fight Matias. I can definitely see that fight going Jamaine Ortiz's way. I must say, I think the size will just be too much on the night, to be honest. That power will just be too much. We saw Matias in his last fight. He can get caught. And I think what we saw from Ortiz's work yesterday in the corner, the combinations and the power he was throwing in the corner, very, very impressive stuff. Shout out to him. Shout out to his coach as well, Lester Diaz from Cuba, and the whole team over there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you seen Jack Turner? Let me know what you thought of the Rafferty Chamberlain fight. Do you think a draw was a fair result? Let me know if you watched Jamaine Ortiz or not. How impressive was it? If you haven't, I recommend you go watching. And as always, don't forget to give me a like, give me a subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And as always, my dear friends, keep those hands up.
I know you feel it. 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 I know you feel it.